Back now on Newsmax Prime. As a recovering member of Congress, this criticism kind of strikes home with me as well. You know, the tendency to think those who serve in public office may go on too long when trying to answer questions in an interview. Well, that was the case last week. A sixth grader at a Maryland middle school interviewing the President of the United States. The young man wanted to keep this interview moving, and he felt the president had answered the question thoroughly. Take a look at this exchange.
A lot of times the reason people get blocked is because they're worried that what I'm going to do is not going to be that good. Well, nothing is very good the first time you do it. You know, your first draft, everybody here has been learning how to, in your English classes, that you write drafts, right? You try something, you write it the first time. Listen, even the best writers, usually it's not that good the first time they write it.
Yeah, and I think you sort of covered everything about that question.
Okay, you think I've just kind of, well, this mom thinks I've been talking too long.
No, I think you just...
No, well, let's move it along. I got you.
Well, you know, it could be, Mr. President, the young man was just paying attention to his floor director, right? I have a floor director here. It keeps track of the time, and perhaps the young man was being a bit candid. Now, there were a few more people just today who threw their name into the ring for presidency, including Dr. Ben Carson and Carly Fiorina. Our Miranda Kahn spoke with Democratic strategist Stephen Cobb earlier and started out her questions by asking him which GOP candidate or potential candidate has the best chance to win the general election against the presumed Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton.
Oh my gosh, I'm not sure if, as the loyal Democrat that I am, I can even, accept the premise of that question. But it's going to be a long road to those Republican primaries, and I think part of that debate and that campaign experience is really going to show who the formidable candidates are, and for lack of a better phrase, who's ready for prime time. I think clearly Jeb Bush is probably the most polished at this point, whether that be on domestic policy or what it takes to have a campaign infrastructure. He's got to be kind of the front runner right now of that field. But there's a lot of exciting candidates for the right, whether that be Marco Rubio or Scott Walker. They both have interesting stories and backgrounds that could catch on. But we'll see how they kind of react with that ebb and flow of the Republican primaries and those debates to see if they can go from potential exciting candidates to the real deal.
Who do you think concerns Democrats the most, though?
It's tough. I think somebody like Scott Walker presents an electoral challenge. The Democrats have had a very strong hold through the upper Midwest, through Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and depending on where his polling comes in those areas, if he was able to put states like that in place, it would make for a challenging electoral map for Democrats.
Well, there's been a little bit of a battle brewing now between Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio. You probably heard about this. Jeb Bush saying that really a governor is more experienced to run this country. Rubio is disputing that. In your mind, does that matter?
Well, I think what's going to matter the most is who's able to put together the strongest vision for what they think of what their presidency would look like. And that includes where they see the country going, the policies and the roadmap for how they're going to get there, and how they're able to communicate that to the electoral public. And so to that extent, whether they're a governor or a senator, it's really going to be a communication, a vision, and a policy issue more than it is their title and background.
Stephen, I have to ask you real quickly, Bernie Sanders just threw his name into the hat to run. Does he really stand a shot against Hillary?
Well, myself and I think a supermajority of Democrats are supporting Secretary Clinton. Senator Sanders, is sure to weigh in and have substantive thoughts in that debate. But make no mistake about it, Secretary Clinton is the odds-on favorite and the candidate to beat at this time. And I don't think Senator Sanders' entry into this race changes that.
Stephen Cobb, thanks so much for joining us on Newsmax Prime. Good to have you.
Thanks so much.
And our thanks to Miranda and Stephen as well, and our thanks to you. See you tomorrow night. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.